Ali Dawah, John chapter 1 quotes Genesis chapter 1 and then analyzes the coexistence of the Trinity in full detail according to its interpretation from the beginning. As it states that, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Meaning that the Word existed from the beginning, being God, and was with God at the same time, which means that he has no beginning. And neither is the Spirit of God that was hovering over the surface of the water void has a beginning, either, they both coexisted. And if Genesis chapter 1 only emphasized the beginning of God creating the earth, and not about God's existence, then it will definitely be very clear that the Word's image as a man also existed spiritually before the making of the male and the female images, in Genesis chapter 1. Because God said, "Let us make man in our own image and likeness," and the question lying here is which of the God among them had the image of them that was to be created, the male and the female of at that time of their creation. Because the coming the Word of God in the form of man on earth symbolized and as well the reflected how God formed the flesh of Adam, and then breathed the existing image of Adam, which is the soul, life, that was the image he had already made as male into the formed body of Adam, for him to become both physical and a spiritual living being at the same time. Meaning also that we humans are not one in essence or entity, just as God isn't. But the difference between God and us is that we have a body that our brain, heart, and soul embodied, and God doesn't, as he isn't being created as we are. Because God also has brain that thinks, and as well heart that feels, and the spirit that determine, and but God has no body of form to be just one like us. Godhead is the mastermind architect of all, and of which God heart is the compassionate word of God, loving kindness that forgives. And as well, is the creator of all humanity through the God might that is the Spirit of God. And both are distinct from each other but share one essence as God with one entity, just as we as humans, that do acknowledges our conscience judging us deep inside our minds, and also, as our heads can be thinking and saying yes, and while our hearts at the same time will be feeling, deciding, and says no, proving that, we're not just one as the one body as we believes that we are, and but also that we have a third party in us as beings as well, that control us or thinks for us to make decisions. Just as I've earlier said before, I am saying it again that we shouldn't be exaggerating about all these and but instead, let's us all work together as one. Thanks, and God bless you all. As usual, written by The Other Apologetic. And signed by I Know.